I can promise you that tonight's podcast will be interesting, fascinating, possibly enlightening, with a touch, possibly, of skepticism, maybe a sprinkle of cynicism, but absolutely something you need to tune into this evening. Psychic, empath, clairvoyant, Kelly Bowman, tonight on Whiskey Business. And good, Tuesday evening to everybody who's tuning in tonight on Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. I'm your host, Dino Tripodis. Welcome to all those tuning in live on Facebook and on YouTube Live. Kelly Bowman is our guest tonight. Renowned psychic, clairvoyant, empath, Reiki master, you name it. She's done it and is still doing it as we speak, and will be doing it this evening. Also, hopefully, digging into something that maybe we've all been experiencing in the last year, addressing the disconnect that a lot of us might have been having with the universe in general. Do you know you completely? Are there things about you that you don't know that maybe you need enlightened about? Have you had crazy COVID dreams in the last year, more so than you've ever had before? I have. I've been dreaming like full-length feature film dreams, some of them shorter than others. One I had that was kind of short just a couple of weeks ago was about Bill Cosby. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'll pause so you can write your own jokes. I was at a supper club that had dinner and dancing, and I was there with my mother. And apparently Bill Cosby was there as well. And while I got up to excuse myself to go to the restroom, when I came back, Bill Cosby was slow dancing with my mother. And I remember shouting, "Mom, no! No!" What did that dream mean, other than the fact that at 84 years of age, my mother can still make bad decisions when it comes to that?
She still got it.
I don't know. Maybe Kelly can tell me what that dream means. I have my own interpretations, but she's the expert, and we'll be talking with Kelly Bowman here in just a little bit. So thank you for tuning in this evening. Like I said, it's going to be enlightening. It's going to be interesting. I am fascinated with people who are in this world because I approach it with a curiosity, and yes, admittedly so, occasionally a touch of skepticism. I don't believe in coincidences. So when somebody actually pulls things together and they say, "Oh, it's coincidence," I don't know. There's something else in the mix that's making all this happen. In order to make this happen, Whiskey Business on a weekly basis, I cannot do it without the video and audio talents of Greg Hansberry on the audio.
Hey, how you doing?
John Whitney Hansberry.
Hey. Why are you putting stars on your hand?
Well,
man?
I just wanted to get this out of the way. We've been getting viewer mail.
Yes.
People have been asking about. Yes, I've got little Velcro on the top of my head microphone headset here. And it is, so that's what it is. People thought it was cotton balls or wondering what it is. It's Velcro because my wife and I share this headset, and one of her side hustles, she teaches kids online. So this is her thing. She puts these stars here as like little, I don't know, reward things for the kids. So yes, nice. That's what it is. I just wanted to take a second to clear that up so everybody at home just knew the backstory about my fuzzy head.
Okay. No,
inquiring minds needed to know, right? They needed to know.
And some of the business before I introduce the guest bottle and our special guest for tonight, Kelly Bowman, Hansberry.
Yeah, thanks for subscribing to Whiskey Business on your favorite podcasting platform: Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Audible. Wherever you get your favorite podcasts, go ahead and make sure you subscribe, rate us, go ahead and give us a 5-star review there, please, and thank you. And write a comment. That'd be very, very helpful. If you are listening on your favorite podcasting app, don't forget to like us on Facebook and YouTube, Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis. That way you will be hip to when we do live videos like we are today. And you could catch it live and actually be part of the show with your conversations. That's a lot of fun. If you are watching us right now on YouTube and Facebook, thank you much. Make sure you like us and share and click that little notification so every time you get a new episode will beam directly to your smart device like magic. And then the most important thing, word of mouth. Spread the word, tell all your friends and family about Whiskey Business, share. Everything else you could find at whiskeybusinesspod.com, Instagram, Twitter, and HBO Max.
Not HBO Max.
Not
HBO Max.
Not Tubi either. We're on Tubi. I thought we were on Tubi.
Tubi TV?
No, Tubi. Yeah, Tubi.
Lots of our friends are joining us once again. Chip wants to know if I have new glasses. No, Chip. These are my readers. My nice glasses were broken, shattered in a fall on some black ice. And, oh man.
That's horrible black ice.
I took a terrible fall. Thank God I landed on my head because, as we know, I have a very large head, which absorbs most of the shock in my body. So, but the glasses went flying and broke everywhere. So, got to replace the glasses. So, I've got the old fogey readers on for this evening. But I like them. Yeah, but thank you, Chip, for noticing. Thank you, Chip, for caring. Our guest bottle this evening, bottle number, I believe, 157, is as we explore new worlds tonight with Kelly Bowman, or other worlds, as it were, whatever the case might be. I decided that we would go to the other world of the bottom shelf at the liquor store, where I found this beauty, Evan Williams Bottled and Bond 100 proof. This, my friends, falls smack dab into our favorite category of whiskey and whiskey business. The bottles that are under $50, this one is actually under $20 with tax included, $19.97. And I thought to myself, all right, it's bottled in bond, which means it has to be at least 4 years old. I found out that this is actually a 5-year-old bourbon. It has to be 100 proof. So I'm figuring how good or bad can it be? And I'm telling you right now, with the little hints of vanilla that are right out of the gate in the nose, it's not too spicy at 100 proof. It's not hot at all at 100 proof. 78% corn, I believe 12% malted barley, and just a touch of rye at 10%. This is actually a pretty smooth drinking whiskey. So if you're looking for one of those everyday pour bottles that you don't feel bad emptying it in a hurry and can replace very quickly, the Evan Williams, we've had the Evan Williams single barrel on the show, which I like. I don't really care for the Evan Williams Black Label, the one that's like I call the faux Jack Daniels.
Yeah, it sounds so great.
That almost imitates. That almost looks like a Jack Daniels bottle, and they say it's charcoal filtered, just like Jack Daniels. I don't care for that one so much, but this one, it's $17.99, $19.97 with tax. This is great. If you can find it, I found it at our friends at Northwest Spirits. So definitely mark it down on your everyday list. Benchmark for John Whitney. Buffalo Trace product. Can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong for $10. $10, and it's really good. It's really good.
John Whitney exploring.
It's only 80 proof, but
exploring the bottom shelf. And Hansberry.
I feel classy tonight. I got the.
You got the good stuff.
Buffalo Trace.
I've been kind of like nipping this. So, I've had this for like about 3 months. I've been nursing it just because I know,
Yeah.
like
That
Dino,
wouldn't
Dino
last a
says,
week.
I'll pound it. I'll pound it one night if I'm not.
I feel confident, gentlemen, that we're getting closer and closer to being reunited in the same room or space once again, with the vaccines being administered faster. Johnson and Johnson, the no tears vaccine out there now, as well.
Yeah.
So,
That's right. And you're
yeah.
eligible now in the state of Ohio.
as of Thursday, yes, I will be eligible for the vaccine as well. So,
Nice.
Congratulations.
I think all of our good, safe distancing will pay off, and we'll be reunited, not
Yeah.
only amongst ourselves, but with our guests. And speaking of guests, I told her it's not a requirement that you drink whiskey on Whiskey Business. That falls on us, not our guests. Let's welcome, please, if you will, Kelly Bowman to the podcast. Psychic. We're drinking wine,
Hey.
Coyote drinking wine. Hello,
I'm
Kelly.
drinking Cocoa Bond from Trader Joe's. It's a 14% espresso aged oak wine. It is so
Wow.
strong.
Nice.
It's
That
$7.
sounds good.
Nice.
You'll never get anything better as far as wine. Hi.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for being
I'm
with us.
good. I'm good. I'm a little tired from the expo this weekend, but I had a really good time. We did really well, and it was nice to see people there, you know, seeing Chief Golden Light Eagle speak, and Cindy Riggs and myself, and
Oh, I know Cindy.
yeah, we spread it. We had to make sure we spreaded the chairs out every other class, and it was really nice. The energy
Cindy,
makes
yeah.
it work.
Cindy used to be in the business. She was
Yes.
she worked in catering on a lot of film shoots that I was on. She's a really
Oh,
nice lady. I like her. I like her a lot.
And Christina Comp says hi. She said she
Yes.
recommended you highly.
Yes, Christina. We go way back. Yep.
Text and said that she was excited that we were having you on tonight, and I said we were looking forward to it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I move around a lot. My
Yeah.
chair is on wheels, so I'm trying to stay stationary here.
Hey, can you lock it? Can you lock the wheel?
I can either lock it or I can grab another chair.
No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to lock it.
Alright.
Slide anywhere you want. Doesn't matter. Go with the flow. Go with the
I'll
flow.
stay still.
We appreciate you being on with us tonight. We have a lot of I have a lot of questions for you, and some of the guys have questions for you. We might have some people chiming in as well who are on Facebook Live and YouTube as well. My first question, and I'm sure it's one that's been asked of you 1,000 times. 1,000 times, but I want to just address it right out of the gate. When did you first realize that, first of all, do you consider what you have to be a gift?
And a curse.
And a curse.
Yeah.
So when did you first realize you had the gift and the curse?
Okay, well, I had noticed as a child I was seeing spirits. Okay, I was having a lot of dreams, and I had a wild imagination. I was just telling my mom all about it. I was just different. But I noticed strongly when I was in college, and I was sitting with a friend, Mike Stimmel, I named him, at this place called the Coffee Table. We were having coffee outside, and it was the nighttime. It was at night. It was on the corner of Buttles and High, and we were just chilling. It used to be a real chill place to sit and have fun. I said, you know, I've been having these premonitions. I've been working for Bill Mitchell. It's just a lot's coming out of me, and I don't know if this is a coincidence or if it's something that's real. I'm not sure. And he said, predict something in my future. And I said, okay, your stepdad is going to come very close to death, but he won't die right away. We disperse for the evening and go home. He called me the very next morning and said, what did you do? In those terms, I said, nothing. Why? He said, my stepdad, he almost died last night.
Oh, wow.
And so I got chills, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what's going on with me. Like, it was more prevalent that at that point, it was stronger. You know, just because you're psychic, which we're all psychic, doesn't mean it's necessarily a gift right away. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's something that you go, oh yay, I'm psychic. A lot of people seek it out, but when you're looking that hard, you don't realize it's just right under your nose by listening to your instincts. Everything that you dream or instinctually feel, or, you know, I've even done it out loud. Like I'm like, okay, I've got to fix these curtains, and I'm in my daughter's bedroom, and I go, I'm going to put my foot on this chair, and my foot's going to go directly through this chair. I said it out loud, and bam, there goes my foot right through the chair. It's like, so we know what's going to happen. All of us know. And we either choose to accept it right away or be skeptical. So there's an area in your brain that's called the psychic area of your brain. I mean, we're very intelligent beings that don't use our brains to the full capacity. Like when you test at school, going back to, you know, childhood, we'll say, and you're like, you know, I can only remember what the teacher says, or you're watching and you begin to zone out. And it's almost like you're meditating because you want to fall asleep. You really do remember that, but you don't know how to access it and pull it forward. So the brain is a very complicated but beautiful machine. It's a computer. And the pineal gland controls all of that psychic stuff. Look it up. It's really fascinating stuff. It's not something that we can control. So a lot of times if I talk to someone we'll say a new psychic, they'll say, I can't control, I see things and I just can't control it. How do I turn it off? Good luck. Because once it begins, you start to see things, or you're dreaming, like you guys mentioned that you were dreaming. It's an indication that your brain is on overactive mode, helping you, but you are actually in a very calm state. In order to pull this kind of information in, it's almost like your brain has to go down into a delta wave state. It calms itself down, and then everything just bam, 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 it comes in. Now, spirit energy is a little bit different because it's not from the brain. It actually does come from spirit energy, which I was actually more skeptical about in the beginning. I've been skeptical myself, guys. So a lot has happened to me since my skepticism started. But basically, we go to bed at night, we fall asleep, we begin to relax, we go into the falling stages, which puts us in a very relaxing state where you think you're falling off a cliff, and then you wake up, you know, and then your brain goes back into that beta mode, like fast computer mode. But in that fast mode is when you're not getting anything. It's when you relax and it all comes out. There have been known times for people to come to you in your sleep, spirits or whatever. That's also a part of, you know, psychic dreaming. But the brain defrags at night. And then when we wake up fresh, we're all cleared out. But when you have a premonition, or when you say, wait a minute, I've been here before. Everyone knows it's called a deja vu. How do you think that happens? Your brain goes through a process the night before that actually takes you through what's going to happen. And so when you second guess something that day, it's almost like that's your ego in your defense system going, wait a minute, should I go this way to take this route, or should I go that way? Your first instinct to go straight was the right way. A lot of times, even I will do it. I'll say, no, I feel like going this way. And then I catch traffic. And it's like, I told myself to go straight. And I still kick myself, like, because we're human beings, we all have emotions tied into that. So the best way to be the best psychic you can is to take every bit of emotion out. And that's why my mentor, Bill Mitchell, seemed like he was kind of a jerk or very cold or very precise sometimes, because when he reads, and I try to follow that patterning because I mentored with him, it's not that he was saying, here's how you be psychic. He was saying, here's how to handle being psychic. So when he would read, he would seem very cold and a matter of fact. But that's the way you need to be when you're reading someone professionally, because that's the more accurate of the message. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
You can't take time to second guess anything.
When you say, because you mentioned right out of the gate that we're all psychic and we're all intuitive to some extent. You're saying that in order to actually, order to be a psychic, you have to be like Bill Mitchell was, or like you are. You have to remove yourself somewhat.
Yes.
I do believe that. I do believe that. Go ahead.
We taught classes on how to access that for people who wanted to do it. And I do it in my intro, in my Ask a Psychic class. Like, people will come into the class just, for a quick reading, but I have to do it like I do it on QFM, the Torg and Elliott show, and the Christy show. I have to say, ask me one question quickly, specifically, because you're short on time. I mean, I've got 68, 90 people, 100 people in a class. I can't answer every single question if it's like question after question. Tell me about my life. What do you see for my life? Where do I begin? I mean, that's such a general question.
It's too vague.
Am I going to be successful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you already are. This show is going to really hit all-time heights. I see this really being a big thing. And you know why? It's almost like the catchphrase that you're using with whiskey as risky. And it's a play on words, and it's a beautiful play on words, because I'm telling you, this is overdue. People are ready for this. People are ready for this show. They're ready for this realm. They love the title. You know what I'm saying? They
No.
You hear that, Mom?
well, it's a big play on words, because no, it's not about drinking. It's about a play on words, and these guys like whiskey. That's a popular thing. I mean, if Howard Stern can break into the business, I mean, anyone can. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we've been doing this now. This is our 5th year. So if you're saying we're about to break through, we're going to be one of those, overnight sensations that really wasn't an overnight sensation. We've been at this for a while.
Everybody that asks me, am I going to be an overnight sensation? Yes, and it's going to take you about 10 years. It's like an overnight
I love that answer.
like a 5 or 10 year period. People have been around. It's just a matter of fact of the word of mouth. And I think I had a really great feeling tonight coming on here. I was like, this show is going to be great. This is going to be good. I mean, it's overdue. People, this whole, the catchphrase on the play on words, I love, but the fact that it's coming through strong at a time where people are sitting at home. They're stuck at home. I mean, it is a pandemic. I get it. It is a real sickness. I get it. And I think that I have a few opinions on that psychically, but I won't go into it unless I'm asked. But I see that being making this show more popular, because it's not over yet. I mean, it's over when they say it's over. You know what I mean?
Who's they?
The government.
Our overlords.
When the people in charge say it's over.
Jeff
the
Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
The people that we don't know, the people that we could pass on the street and stand right next to them at a coffee shop and not even know that they're in control of this entire situation.
Talking about Illuminati?
We don't know them. The people in control, we don't know. We don't know them. The people you see in the media, the people that are popular and hated and loved and hated and loved and hated and more hated than loved, but those are the people that take the heat, so to speak, for the people that we don't know.
Yeah, yesterday when I was talking to Kelly, she mentioned I can come back. You can come back and do a whole episode on conspiracy theories. So that's definitely something one of your passions as well.
With me, we would have my friend Jimmy Schwab and I would have we'd have a heyday on the show with that. Yeah, there's a lot to say, but I don't want to. You asked me on.
No, don't hold back. You can say whatever. Whatever you want to say. So you're saying that some complete stranger that I see at Starbucks might be in control and I don't even know it.
Yes. Absolutely. Think about that. This is not a conspiracy thought. Think about that. This isn't by chance either. We meet people and it's really not, it seems like it's by chance, but it's not. I've met a Rothschild. I've met people And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't even have known like that you're a Rothschild. And then, you know, a lot of odd things would happen. And then, you know, somebody dies and they inherit $10 million. And I'm like, oh, wow, congratulations.
I didn't think David Lee Roth's albums paid that much, you know, sold that much. That's awesome.
Know. You would never know. I mean, I've been through it all. I've been through the whole ghost thing where it embodies you. I've been through the whole. I was a skeptic. I was a skeptic in the beginning, guys. I was scrubbing Bill Mitchell's floor when I realized I had to accept the fact that I'm psychic, because Bill looked at me and said, "Are you rubbing off? Am I rubbing off on you? What's happening here? You're predicting something?" And I said, "I am. You know, I'm on my hands and knees scrubbing his floor in the kitchen." I met him by chance, or was it? I mean, it could have been fate. It was the most important person I've ever met in my life, other than my daughter, who's a very old soul. She's psychic already. It doesn't come from a place of ego. Children are psychic. They see things, they say things, and the parents discard it and say, no, that sounds weird. Let's just take you and we'll just reconfigure you. And everything ends up with conditions on it, see? Society speaks that. Society says, don't do that. That's weird. We don't like that weirdness because we're uncomfortable with it. And it's a form of cognitive dissonance. It's a form of not accepting those things are not, you know, I'm not some weird psychic that sits and goes, let's start the reading. Om Shalom, blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't do all that. I sit down and say, okay, well, here's what I get. Did you want to tell me what happened? I'll help you to figure the way out of it if I can, psychically. But I can tell you what I see. I can tell you what to do. I can't make you do it. If you don't do it, you can come back to me and say, I didn't do it and I'm not going to go, you know, get out. I'm going to say, okay, sit down. Let's figure out what's happening, why you're resisting, not taking care of yourself or whatever. We've all done that. We've all, especially during COVID, a lot of suicide, you know, a lot of suicide because they thought it's the end. The end is near. You know, like they're thinking that the end is near and it's only just beginning. It's going to change a lot.
You mentioned children are very psychic. I've heard that before. Is it because children are so open-minded and have not been tainted by opinions and influences of the world that their minds are still open and expanding, so they can accept a lot of the things that are coming into them? And for lack of a better word, their innocence is still present.
Yeah, they have nothing to hide. They can just fart in public. They can scream and cry. They have no conditions. They don't care. They don't care what anyone thinks of them. Have you noticed that? You hear a kid screaming in a restaurant. The kid doesn't care that, you know, you're with friends and you're trying to relax during dinner. They don't care. They're not conditioned yet. They're not controlled yet. They are open, free vessels. They're, you know, they see ghosts and say, oh, look, they have imaginary friends. What do you think those are? They're not always imaginary. They're not always imaginary. They're friends, you know, that may live in the corner of the room near a portal in their house and you just don't know it. I've had so many cases that I've been called to do. And
it's funny you say that. My daughter has just had an invisible friend pop up this week. It's funny you say that.
Yeah. And I guess as a parent, you know, the most important way to deal with that safely for me would be to say, what's your friend's name? What do you see? Like, what do they look at? What do they look like? Do they come back every day? How often do they visit? Ask questions. It's almost like you're dealing with someone with Alzheimer's, although they don't have Alzheimer's. Do you see what I mean? You kind of accept the fact that it's happening instead of saying no and negate everything. Because if you deal with someone who's got Alzheimer's and you say, no, you're not seeing someone, you know, climbing a ladder right there. I've heard everything, guys. they go, what? And they feel panicky and unsafe. Just like kids feel unsafe if you're like, that's not a ghost. I'll tell you who else doesn't care when they see ghosts, our pets. You see a cat raise its back and arch and puff its tail out at something in the house in the corner, and you're looking at it like, whoa. You want to talk about getting the creeps. People get the creeps from that because you can't look at that cat and say, no, you're wrong. But you can look at a kid and say, don't talk about that in front of grandma. Or do you see where I'm coming from?
I live in a 100-year-old house, and my cat runs around like a crazy person sometimes, and I don't know what the hell she's doing.
She's playing with another cat.
I know. It's crazy.
She's playing with another cat. That's
Cat
what
ghost.
that's what I picked up on.
A ghost cat?
Yes.
Could be.
Yes.
Named Bert.
Yes. She's playing
Probably.
with another cat. You know, my cat does the same thing. She's playing with another cat. A cat in the spirit world to my cat is safer because she's an all white cat, which all white animals are singled out and like shoved out of the herd because that's the way it is with white animals. My cat feels safer with the ghost cat that's here, but she doesn't feel good on her own. Like with real cats, she felt scared. So we can't tell animals no, but we can tell kids no. Oh, and when your grandma or your, God forbid, your spouse or your parents pass away and they say, so-and-so came to me last night. Yeah, John was here and he said, why don't you come with me? I mean, how many times have you heard that story? Has everybody here heard that story? Like older people who are passing away in the hospital. You know, I've even heard my mother's best friend in the hospital, Mary. She said, your mom came to me last night. She told me that it's okay now. You know, and it's like, I mean, I can't say no. You know, my uncle died. My Uncle Mike died. And he told me everything that happened. It was fascinating. He said, it was the most weird, it was bizarre. I looked down and saw myself laying there and I was like, what's going on? I feel so good physically. I do not hurt. This is great. I want to feel this always. And, you know, his brain is still working down there and he's looking down at himself. And then he said he felt like the worst pain. And then he looks up and there are the doctors. I mean, how many times have we heard this? This is not a phenomenon. It's science. It's what's really happening. You know, we're living in a third dimension world right now.
What does that mean?
Well, it's here. I see you. I can touch you. I believe you. There it is. It's the fact. I got it on camera. It's a fact. I'm right here with you. You know, your name is Dino. I saw it on paper. You know what I mean? We have to see it to believe it. We're entering into a fourth dimension, which is a quantum phase, you know, we're starting to believe that the brain has more capability than we thought it did. But think about this, guys. Go way back in history, okay? Look at all the prophets that were back. I'm talking back in like the 1200s, back in Jesus.
Your studies started in Egyptian mysticism. So does it go that far back?
Oh God, yeah. Oh, it goes back to the beginning of time. I mean, this goes back all the way to the beginning of time. You know, somebody knew they shouldn't be biting on that apple. I'm teasing. That was actually a joke. That was
and a good one. And a good one.
But, I mean, my point is, I do believe in some sort of Buddhist perspective, which is not exactly, I wouldn't call it a religion, but I do believe in cause and effect, okay? That's a simple way to put everything. But at the same time, premonitions exist for a reason. I mean, prophets existed back in the beginning of time. And nowadays, you know, we've got people who come into our show even and say, do you realize what you're doing here is blah, 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 and have you accepted Jesus Christ as your Savior? Well, a lot of people in my show are Christians and go to church. A lot of them have churches. So the fact that they're picking up on their pineal gland, telling them, feeding them information into their brain, because I sense the vibration of your voice. I listen to you talk and I hear things and I see things and I spit out what I see to you, and you go, oh, that is really weird. How did you know that? Because you knew it. I don't know how it plays out perfectly unless I see a scenario, but I know what I see and I tell you, and then you and I figure it out together because I've never lived your life. Does that make sense?
It
There's
does.
only so much information I can carry.
Isn't part of what you do though, and this is where, like you said, you were in the beginning, you were riddled with some skepticism and some cynicism. So let me be that sounding board.
Okay.
Isn't part of what you do and part of what anybody can do in respects to this is just active listening. I mean, really listening to somebody and hearing what they're saying. More importantly, hearing what they're not saying.
Not necessarily, because you can ask me the same question 50 different ways, which I've had people in a session do. And I'm like, you just asked me that. They're like, well, I wonder. No, the answer doesn't change. Okay. My message coming into my brain tells me this information. I can't change that information because you don't like it. I can't change it because you're not feeling it. So that's where Bill comes in blunt. That's where I come in blunt. But I do pad my clients beforehand and say, are you ready for this? I mean, I need to know that you're ready to hear anything. I want to know. I mean, to the point where I had a guy, and I don't ever mention names, but I had a guy whose son died, and he sat down with me and he gave me the object. I do psychometry like Bill did, and I listen to your voice and I can pick up stuff, but I will tell you this, guys, I know my boundaries. If you're with me at a party, I'm not working and I won't nose into your stuff. But if I do pass by somebody who's a stranger that I don't know and or shake their hand and I know something is there, like, and I get a little creeped out, I kind of pull away from that because it's not my business. Does that make sense? That's how you control being a psychic. But I sat down with this guy. He said, he handed me the object. I got chills. I mean, I can't control it. You know what I'm saying? Any psychic who knows what I'm talking about right now knows. I can't control it. And I'm like, I am suffocating. My blood pressure shot up. I was suffocating. My head was pounding. All of a sudden I feel these things and I just literally just tell him, I'm right between, I feel the earth, but I feel like I'm suffocating. And well, his son was working on above a big hole, and the hole was covered. It was in the earth, and it was covered with a big plastic, like, trash bag. It was like huge. The hole was filled with oil. He slipped. He wasn't harnessed. He fell down between the plastic and the earth, and he suffocated, and he died a horrific death. And it came out of me, and the guy's crying and I'm crying and I'm suffocating, and there's got to be something to that. I mean, it's very stressful doing what I do. I don't do it that much unless I'm asked. Like, I don't seeking clients. I just say, call me if you need me, because it's just stressful.
Well,
Yeah,
I felt high blood pressure from it.
one of the things that you do is that you mentioned that you're an empath, and I'm curious in respects to being an empath. Is that something you can turn on and off, or is that always on? And if it's always on, what you mentioned about being suffocated, I mean, how do you must be exhausted.
I am.
So what? First of all, what is an empath? For people who don't know, what the hell?
An empath is somebody who picks up on the physical traits of someone else who's in pain, or what they're feeling, or their sadness. You can walk into a room. You can walk by someone and just, okay, guys, we're all energy. We are electric. You know how they'll say, oh, you can light a field of light bulbs with the energy in someone's body. It is true. When you die, that energy leaves your body. I mean, it floats out into the universe again. I mean, that your body's made of water, electric, and all these fascinating things. Okay, so when you walk by someone else's energy field, don't tell me, and you can all be skeptical, but don't tell me you haven't been around someone and you're like, God, every time I'm around them, like they bring me down, man.
Yep.
Just by walking in the room, your
Right.
mother-in-law. It's always like the mother-in-law, like, you know, the energy of like somebody like a grandma that's never got anything good to say, or they walk in and you're like, God, I'm exhausted. I just need to go take a nap, you know, and that's the energy. It's like, you know, when something like that's on you and you know when it's going to happen. Like, yes, I am empath. We're all empathic. We just don't, you guys might be like, I'm turning it off because it's always off. But when somebody is strong in your field, like you can't escape it. You're like Thanksgiving with Uncle Ed again, you know, or not, whatever. It's that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't change it. Like, but
I have an
unless
Uncle
you
Ed.
leave, go home and you're like, whoo, thank God, I'm, you know, in the car, I'm on my way home, you know, but it's like being at work. It's like, you know, people that hate their jobs, just like, am I going to get a new job? Yeah, if you want to. Like, stop complaining about the job you're in and go look for that other job. But you need, happiness comes within. Okay, so you have to find that happiness and feeling inside yourself in order to withstand the energy around you, because that's really what it is. You're taking in the energy around you and you're like, man, this is a drag. But it's only a drag if you take it in. If you turn it off like Bill learned to do, and I mean, man, was he good. Like, I try to turn it off now. I have to. Like at the expo, I have my own office back there behind a curtain, and I have a cot back there. People don't know this. I'm telling all my secrets. Only my best friends know. But I go back there and I just sit behind the curtain on the cot just to turn it off, because I need to just recoup. You know what I mean? I need to defrag.
Right.
So it's just energy that we're talking about energy now. Empathic is energy.
And
Medical. If you're around somebody who's hurting all the time, they might not even be telling you that they have bad knees. But I know right away, if someone comes in my office, I'm like, my back is killing me. Are we dealing with a back problem here? Like, what, have they said anything about an injection? Or like, I just say it right out the bat, and they're just like, I just got an injection yesterday, or whatever. You know, it's just energy. You're just picking up on other people's energy. It's not special. It's not mystical. It's not magic. It's just science. It's actually literally that simple. Do you guys believe that we come from an alien race? Do you believe that?
I've never been asked that question before, but
I mean,
I don't have a prepared answer.
I guess my first answer would my gut answer would be no.
Okay, that's like a conspiracy night question, because it would explain a lot about our brains and how we use them and how sometimes we don't use them. So use that. Think about that for next time.
I love Ancient Aliens on History Channel, though.
Yeah.
I could watch that all day.
I think we come from Mars myself. I think Mars was there's a civilization there, and then they escaped to Earth, and they fucked it up.
I'd buy that. It's like, I'd buy that. It's just like,
I believe it.
I try to say what happened, but guys, we've all had past lives too. Think about that.
Past lives. Let me dig into that for 1 second. Past lives. I've experienced that through somebody. I may have told this story briefly on the podcast before, but when I was doing stand-up comedy in Indianapolis, there was a patron in the audience who was a psychic and also specialized, if there's a specialty in your field, in past lives. And prior to being a stand-up comedian, I was an investigator. She had no idea about this. She asked for my ring, or at the time, to grasp onto, to feel a connection, as you were, and she told me that in a past life that I was an investigator, a private investigator in the 40s, and that I was horribly murdered. And I kind of chuckled because I said, wow, before I started doing stand-up, that's exactly what I did for a living. I was a private investigator. And she goes, you were a private investigator back in the 40s as well, and you were working on a case, and you were snuffed out before you got to solve it. And
did she tell you were in California? Did
she
say
tell me what?
that you were in California when you were murdered?
No, she didn't. Is that where you think I'm going to die? Is California?
No. As you were telling me that you had a past life and that you were murdered as a private investigator, I pictured you in California.
Maybe. She wasn't specific, but here's
the interesting part, though. I didn't see you murdered because of your job. I saw you murdered because you were messing around with another guy's girl. You were very in love. Both of you were very in love with each other. It was very passionate love, and you couldn't stay away from each other.
Back in the 40s? And you know what? And I'm gonna say, let's say it was California, because I have an affection for Philip Marlowe and Raymond Chandler, and I like to think that there was Hollywood back in the 40s and so forth.
It was very Hollywood, and I saw clay pots on this roof of where you were. It was a ranch home, and it had like a really cool, like a dark brown stained kind of wooden door with the black wrought iron to kind of look old, but it was very like not Mexican looking, but it was like a stucco ranch with like a cream colored stucco ranch house with like the glass panes were black and they were crisscross, and then you had there was a clay pot roof, but that was her place, not yours.
Right. Okay. So
as it should be in that situation.
It was worth dying for, let me tell you.
Any one of your past GFs fit that bill there, Dino?
You know what? She did not specify why I was murdered. She just said while I was on the case, I was murdered. So if Kelly says it was because
you were on the case, but you were investigating the guy that
you were investigating something else.
You were investigating. You were lovers with the guy's girl that you were investigating. Now they were not married; they were just living together and shacking up. And he never really made her any promises, but he did, provide her a home and provide her. But that was his house, and so, yeah.
Wow.
This sounds like a movie script.
Whitney, are you writing all this down?
I'm writing this notes. I'm taking notes down, man.
He actually didn't murder you. He had two guys murder you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sure, because it would take two guys to take me down. Absolutely.
You were investigating him, and you got caught up with her. It was like, wow, it's a bonus. I'm in love, and yeah. And and this is funny because when you're a beginner psychic, and you're like spilling all this out, you're like, am I making this up? No, I'm not making it up. I see it with my own two eyes and my third eye. I could see everything that's happening.
So you agree with what she said back then, that actually happened?
But I saw you even further back.
How much further back?
Oh, you've had at least 7 lifetimes.
What? Yeah. Has everybody? Do like John and I have lifetimes too, or is it just Dino?
You graduate into you escalate, so to speak.
It's like an old soul kind of idea.
If you look into someone's eyes and they know things and they can see things, that person's an old soul. You can tell.
No wonder.
You can tell. I can look at someone and tell how many lifetimes they've had based on.
Do me.
Do me, please, do me. I see you on your 5th lifetime. Nice. There's something. Now you got a really good, like Dino had like sort of a checkered past with his lifetimes, okay?
Sounds familiar.
Absolutely.
You, on the other hand, you've tried to live a good life every time.
Oh,
See
Thank you,
what I
sir.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
but here's the thing I want to say to you.
Uh-oh.
Try not to always play it so safe.
Don't
Go out
screw
on
it up.
a limb. It's worth it.
nice.
You're not doing anything wrong by grabbing what you want. You hear me?
Dang. Yeah. Okay.
Do me.
Don't feel bad about getting what you want because you deserve it.
All right, go for Whitney.
Whitney, 3
Yes.
lifetimes. You're on your 4th. You've had 3 past. You're on your current 4th.
I can feel that.
There's something very zen about you. Okay, and when I say that, I mean that there are things that you know that you don't ever really have to speak of. Things that you know that you don't ever speak of. And that when I say have to speak of, because you're not pressed to speak about the things that you know in life, you're very assured in your own thoughts and what you believe, and you don't have to go out yelling it at the rooftops in order to know that it's true. Does that make sense?
Dude, that is really weird because people describe
And
me as aloof and interesting.
I did see some pain around you concerning maybe your father or something there. I saw like a heart pain. I see something there.
Yeah, he's dead. So yeah, it's kind of at a young age.
But he passed away when you were young. So
Yeah, I was 17. Yeah.
Yeah, you got cheated basically, but you don't see it as being cheated. I see like a heart pain, like here, like that's just not what you're thinking is going to happen when you're 17, man. I know I lost my dad when I was 13, so I get it.
Yeah.
Like I'm the same, I don't tell people, hey, my parents are dead, they don't care.
Yeah.
They're thinking about their parents' health and life, and I want them to.
Yeah, I only when asked. I don't open a conversation with, "Hi, I'm John. My dad is dead."
Oh my God.
I do
that. Open up
and,
and
you say I have. This explains why I'm so freaking exhausted. I've had at least seven past lives, and a checkered past as well.
Do you want to know how many lifetimes you're going to live until you find like your ascension and the bliss is going to be 13? That 13. Is your magic number.
Shit.
And here's the thing, you're like a vampire, Dino. You get to come
vampire.
You're not the first person to have said that.
There's something very unique about you, and I don't know why. I never, before I went on this show, I didn't know you, right? We don't know each other. Right. I don't really know any of you, but I didn't know you, but there's some connection that I feel with you because I feel like we have a lot of similarities as far as character. Sometimes I don't want to be bothered.
Right.
I mean, I just said that out loud, and I'm more like Whitney though, where I'm like, don't say that. That's kind of mean.
No, I say that shit all the time.
There are times where I wish I was not bothered, but if I am bothered, I suck it up and I still go ahead and deal with it.
I want to be helpful when I'm needed, but there are times when I need my own. I'm not even doing anything. I just need to be zoning in on me for a second. You know what I mean?
All right.
I do a lot. I'm into a lot. I have a live Facebook page where I sell items to the Philippines, and I don't really make a lot of money. I just do it because they love me and I love them. I'm like, hey guys, and I send gifts over, and my friend Miley does it too, and it's just something to do during COVID because people need you. They need soap. They need shampoo. They need chocolate. You know what I mean? They need stuff. So
let me ask you this, because you mentioned something that was very positive for all of us here on Whiskey Business. You said that this show is going to go to new heights and whatever it may be. Thank you for that. Selfishly, in this life, as we speak, you say it's important that we listen to ourselves and listen to the voices in our heads and in our souls and whatnot. I'll be 62 years of age. I have a nagging feeling that I still have a lot more to do, a lot more chapters creatively to do. What do you see for me in the next 5 to 10 years?
I mean,
Is that too vague? Is that too vague?
lifetime, right? You're talking
In
about
this lifetime. In this lifetime.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. I see all of you right now. I'm looking at you guys. You're going to live healthy lives. Hansberry, he's funny. He's
Look
like,
at his eyes.
in my eyes. I'm cross-eyed. Look, guys.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
really disturbing.
that's why I tilt my head.
I think it's that Trader Joe wine. Hold on,
It's the
Kelly.
Trader-
Kelly, hold on. This is super engaging, but I got to be the stickler here. We can go long on this. I feel like this is going to be definitely a long episode. But if I know we want to hit on the dream stuff, and then we're getting a handful of.
Whoa, Hansberry, you got your read. I didn't get my read yet.
Oh, that's right.
He just said you did.
No,
he said you're not going anywhere.
Yay.
Let her do the read, and then we'll
all
get
right,
into it.
okay.
You know, you are going to live a long life. You actually have 2 more chapters in life left. In this life, 2 more chapters left. And those chapters can last at least 10 years or more, guys.
Boom.
In our lifetime, we should have chapters. Do you see what I mean? Like, if you don't have chapters in your life, dude, you better get up and get your shit together and get your chapters going. Because if you've worked a company for 55 years and now you're retiring, what are you going to do if you don't find that other chapter, that passion that you've always wanted to do? Like I would tell my stepdad, you should teach fishing for a living. You are a master angler, for crying out loud. You know what you're doing, and people would pay big bucks for this. So why don't you do it? And he said, I just want to go fishing. I'll just, he teaches Dallas Cowboy football players how to fish for free because he likes to do it. Hey, do your thing, man. Whatever you want to do, everybody you have to follow that passion. But I do see you. I see you doing some traveling. Is this something Dino, you're going to be doing some traveling.
For what reason?
Radio.
Radio.
Yeah. Yes, things are on the internet.
I just got out of radio like a couple years ago.
No, I mean this. Is this radio?
This is a form of it, yeah.
Media.
I see you guys promoting this show on a grander scale. And I think you should. I think you should go live when this is over and you can actually sit together. Because we're getting real comfortable here in our houses, like being lazy.
Yeah,
I know.
You know?
Right.
Dressing from the top up and wearing PJs and shorts on the bottom or being naked.
If we're lucky.
We're getting all comfortable as a society, getting lazy. And that you need to see this as the flower is opening, guys. This is your chance. This is your chance to come out with this show. You need to visit trade shows. You need to visit other places. Sit live on your podcast, and people need to see you, not just on here. Are you following what I'm saying? People
got to go into the third dimension, right?
Yeah. Well, we're in the third dimension, which is pretty lowbrow to me.
Yeah.
You need to ascend. Okay? That's where this needs to go. It's not necessarily even a marketing thing, but that's what needs to happen. You guys can come to the Gift of Light anytime you want. Podcast live from the Gift of Light. You can do whatever you want. You can open this and expand it. You can podcast from a van going down through Arizona. You can podcast, you guys can do this. This is important. What you're doing is very important, and I love it because I would listen to George Norrie on, what I'm saying? Like on the show, on AM radio. People love that crap. You guys are You guys mentioning this tonight, you guys bringing up the whole dream thing, this has opened up something. It's a vessel for you to take this to the next level. Because people might not believe it, but they're still going to watch it.
Well, that's a good segue for Hansberry. You mentioned the dream thing earlier, Hansberry. What did you want to get into specifically with the dream thing?
Well, we kind of started the episode with, you know, I feel we've talked about it amongst ourselves. I've talked about it with friends. I think people are having weird dreams during this COVID pandemic time. And Kelly, you mentioned to me on the phone yesterday that you have, yeah, and you've got a couple of theories why. So maybe you could hit on the theories, and then I know Dino has some. I don't know if you have some stories. Well, I've got a couple weird dreams that reoccurring themes I've been having. But so Kelly, why? First off, what are your theories of why everybody I talk to is having weird dreams during the pandemic? What are your theories behind that?
Well, I see brain activity being completely expanded right now because we're stuck in our homes and we have nothing else to do but eat, sleep, go to the bathroom, and think. Okay? Even if we're working, all we're doing is thinking. Overthinking. Mm-hmm. Overthinking. It has gotten out of hand to the point where we're wondering, what's next? When is this going to change? This has got your brain on absolute overload. You're watching more television. Don't lie and say you're not. You're looking at the internet more. You are on Netflix. Yeah, I've watched everything on Netflix. Oh, yeah, I already hit Hulu. Oh, yeah, I'm already on Prime, whatever. And I've watched every movie I could possibly watch. So your brain is absolutely so active right now. Okay, mine too. I mean, we're sleeping a little bit less, really, because our brains are active and we can't sleep as well. So if we find ourselves, oh man, I slept like 12 or 13 hours last night, but I'm so tired. I don't even feel rested because your brain needs a rest. I mean, you have absolutely done nothing. Just because, guys, and this goes out to everyone out there, just because you don't remember all your dreams, you were active all night. During this stressful time when they have done nothing but instill fear in us as people in this country, in this world, they've done nothing but instill fear in us. Like, you got to get that mask on or you're getting sick. You got an underlying health condition. You're going to die. You're going to get sick and die. You get this brain thing scrambled up into your head. They're putting microchips for memory, psychic memory in there, and they're spying on you in your brain. Like, people are spilling out all of this crazy information that's been thrown out on the internet that's absolutely put us in a mental and emotional frenzy. Okay, so what else can you do to relax? We drink more, we sleep more, and we eat more. And hey, I've put on 20 pounds during the pandemic. I'm not out there running and stuff like I should be, like I am, but I am working at least now. But when I go to sleep at night, I'm waking up at the same time every night. Oh my, I had this dream. I had that dream. But I did pull in I want to, Hansberry, is that your name's Greg, right? Greg?
Right, yeah.
I want to, and I'm sorry, I'm just looking at your name, your last name there. But Dino, you mentioned in the beginning of this podcast your dream about your mother dancing with Bill Cosby. I was sitting there reading the entire thing. And if you want to explain your dreams to me, I will tell you, boom, 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 boom. This is what I see. Okay, your mother's elderly. We're in a pandemic. You're in fear subconsciously and consciously of her being sick during this pandemic. Bill Cosby is a threat to any woman in this world. Okay, sorry, but he is. I mean, Bill Cosby, you know, is known to knock people out and have sex with them. You're like my mother. Whether we like our mothers or not, they're probably,
I love my mother.
They're the most. That's a good man right there. A good man likes his mother because that means that your character's settled and comfortable with who you are. So our moms can be a pain in the ass, like your mother. It's really important.
My mother is a pain in my ass. But I love my mother.
This is the thing, though. You see a real threat posing to your mother. It actually has to do with COVID. You're seeing your mother being at risk with COVID, and Bill Cosby is the transference that gets to play. Bill Cosby is playing COVID in your brain.
Oh my God, Cosby is COVID.
Yeah,
Cosby
is
19.
COVID.
You see Cosby dancing with your mom. You're like, oh no,
Not just dancing, not just slow dancing.
yeah, which means
Oh,
I'm screwed. He's going to take my mother from me. But think about it. COVID could take my mother from me because she's dancing with death. She's dancing with fear. She's dancing with threats. This could possibly mean that my mother's in danger. Your mother's going to be okay. So
Yeah.
I'm letting you know that now. I'm sure you
Thank you.
already do, but your mother's going to be fine. If we keep our parents at home and they're safe, and we don't go around getting crazy and breathing on people at spring break parties, I think we're fine. But COVID is real. I had it. It is real. It's not what you would expect. If you have underlying health issues, it's probably hell. If you didn't, it's something different, which I can explain in a very long conversation later. So next, who would like to what was your dream?
Here's one for you.
Dino's got more.
Here.
Okay.
This one's a little complicated,
Okay.
right? Because as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I've had these full-length motion picture dreams, and I wake up in the morning exhausted from
Oh
these.
my God. Right.
I had a dream recently, and maybe it goes back to the PI stuff, where I was hired to find some missing children. Okay? Some children went missing. I discovered that the children have disappeared into a time portal. This is the dream. They've disappeared into a time portal. I discover the time portal. I go into the time portal to find the children. I have to try to seek out the children in the 1940s, in the 1960s, and then all the way into the future, into 2040, to find the children. And then and then I woke up. I never found the children before I woke up, but
Let me tell you, Dino, you're feeling very responsible for things right now. You're feeling extremely responsible. Like the world's depending on me to do something. I'm no longer in radio. I need to do something important for this world. I need to save the world. You've always been a person who doesn't seem like a guy who wants to save the world, but you are the guy who wants to save the world. You want the world to be okay. You want it to be safe. You don't want all this shenanigans that's going on out there. And you are a very strong personality in a sense. You would love and fantasize to be a superhero to children. Why not?
I
A
do.
lot of
Yeah.
talk goes around about this child trafficking thing. That's no joke. Child trafficking exists. Human trafficking exists. It is not a joke. They just busted a human trafficking ring right here on 161 and Huntley Road. These girls were locked in a facility right there in Huntley Square, right there, across right by Jack Maxton. I mean, this is going on in the world. You feel the need to save people. You feel the need to assist. I feel like you need to go further with this. I feel like you need to be a public speaker beyond this realm of radio and blogging and podcasting. I think that you need to speak the truth about how you feel, about your views, about your premonitions and your dreams and your thoughts on how the world should work, because people will listen. They want controversy from you, but what they'll get is extremely interesting. You've got a lot to give. You do. You guys as a threesome are like a perfect equation mathematically also. I wanted to bring that up. It's almost like someone did numerology. Okay, like let me explain this real quick. I've been in bands where the chemistry was absolutely perfect. Every single person fit like a puzzle, and it worked perfectly because the way we wrote, he did this and I did that and I did the melodies and they did this, and we would tweak it all together, and it was like, wow, it was magic. But there's always something that goes wrong. The fact that there's only 3 of you is perfect. Never add a 4th person.
Sorry,
Never.
Chip.
Did you try to do that? Because I sensed that you tried to do that once, and that ended up being a failure. This person that you added had an extreme egotistical view on everything. And please let me finish before you laugh or say anything. But I'm not, trying to say anything bad about anybody. But he was lost in his own ego and excitement. And he didn't see the big picture of everything. I think that with a little bit of maturity and exposure and maybe like him finding himself, he would have been a great fit for you. But I saw a 4th person that was in this, and it didn't work. It won't work. You need 3, and you've got this perfect balance of Zen going on here. And
I
when
know who it is.
Okay, I don't know who it is, but whoever it is, I'm sorry.
Your cat?
It's not that they're a bad person.
No.
It's that they were kind of like a misguided person, and it just didn't fit.
During the premise, when somebody wanted to be Dino's sidekick.
Really?
What's that?
Was I aware of this sidekick?
You were aware of the person that tried to be your sidekick in the premise.
I was?
I had people try to be my sidekick.
Yes.
My daughter, my own daughter, 15 years old, looked at me and said these words. We talk about an old soul and a psychic. She said, "Mom, can I talk to you for a minute?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Never make your fans your friends. Never works out." And I went, "Oh, thanks. Good night. Sleep well. Sleep tight." It's like, wow, from the mouth of babes comes the truth and inevitability. It's like beautiful. Who else has a dream? What are we looking at now?
Mine is like a theme. It's not like a reoccurring dream, but it's happened so frequently in the past few months. It always involves old childhood friends, like grade school friends, high school friends, all in weird different scenarios. I'm young, I'm old, whatever. But and just last night, I woke up. I was like, oh, it was a dream that included my friend's mother from growing up in high school. So it's just there. It's never the same people, and it's never the same dream, but it's always.
I can see you missing your life, even though your life feels complete to me, and you're happy in your life. There's still something that you feel a little bit slightly. Don't argue with me here, because I'm feeling that you are feeling a little bit trapped in some way, that you need to get out. You need to expand. You need to talk to these people. And I mean, I could see you actually watching Cobra Kai and stuff on Netflix, because like I sense the feeling that school feeling from you feels nostalgic, and it feels like you're longing and missing those youth days because you're not feeling youthful right now. And it's okay that you're not feeling youthful. I mean, connect with one of your friends from school, and I swear it will remedy like what you've missed, what you're feeling. But
Right.
Try to do this, guys. When you wake up from the dream that you've had, try to always see the upshot of it. Try to always see the positive aspect of it. Try to always see what you felt in the dream and feel that joy, because it really is going to depend on how your day, how your week, how your year is going to go. You miss that. You miss your life.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
You had a great life as a teen. I mean,
I was,
it was
yeah.
perfect, but you had a great life as a teen, and that's something to miss. But here's one thing that I like about your energy levels. Okay, I like this about you, your output. I love it that you don't dwell even though you dream about it, I love it that you don't dwell and you're not living in the past.
Right.
I love that about you, because a lot of people who dream about their past, or, you know, remember Napoleon Dynamite, Uncle Rico? I can throw that football
Over those
I'm not
mountains.
Uncle Rico.
football quarter mile. I can
Yeah.
throw the stake and smack it into it. It's like he was living in his past. He couldn't let go of his past but you're not like that. You're like, man, that was fun. You just want to feel it again. You just
Yeah,
need
sure.
to recreate it with your wife and kids. Do you see what I mean? Like, that needs to happen. You need to recreate the same feeling.
His kids. I mean, he's got a great wife,
Yeah,
but
they're a bunch of cuties. Yeah.
his kids.
Yeah, he's
I
got a really good family unit, and it's
I
very strong.
adore his
Bonded.
kids.
I'm the weakest link. Let's just say that.
Not at all. Not at all. You say that because you're humble, but you wouldn't believe the rock that you present to them, and they lean right against it.
Well, that's
Look
good.
at you.
Look
You
at
are
that.
like the
Look at
end all
you, The Rock.
You're the end all be all, okay, Greg?
Aw.
So take
I
care
appreciate
of
it.
yourself. Take
Thank you.
care of your body. Take care of yourself, your mental health and well-being. Do something that I recommend this to everybody like twice a year. Do something that you would not do in a million years. Like, just go, hey, I'm going to go, get a Korean massage at the mall. I'm going to go.
Are those legal?
No.
They're all they put fabric over you, so you're all dressed, and it's like $30 for half an hour. They beat the shit out of you. It's awesome.
Nice.
Well, no, good. That's
Would a
kind
Korean
words. Thank you.
would a Korean massage be better than God,
No, Ron at OSU is the best. Ron, medical massage Ron. He's the best at OSU. He's in the PT section. I had to do it. I was in a car accident and I had a sciatic issue. And that's also a thing too. We hold on to pain. We hold on to weight, okay, as a soul, like it's our soul's purpose. And that's not your soul's purpose. I know in my mind that I'm not supposed to be like 20 pounds overweight because I don't feel well. Do you see what I mean? Like,
yeah.
we know what our soul's purpose is, but our weight, like I say to myself, okay, it's time to shed the body armor. You're done today. Like, this is it. Like, or the pain comes out. Like Reiki, I'm a Reiki master. I got my master. Actually, I started with Alice Ann Stewart, who was in the original group of the Kundalini Reiki with the original people who started Reiki. This is crazy. She probably died. I don't know. Last I heard, she was just so old. She ended up getting lost when she was driving. And I think like things kind of set in to where she just couldn't, she was old. It was over. But it passed down. I got my second degree from Bill. Bill suggested I use Alice Ann because he did. And then Jimmy Burke gave me my third degree, and like it just exploded. But then it took me to a new level. Can I, what Mr. Miyagi was doing in Karate Kid, right?
Because I was going to say, explain Reiki. Reiki is just
Rub your hands together. Rub your hands together real hard, real quick, as fast as you can.
They heat up.
The friction and the heat.
Yeah, right.
And the sound goes boom. And Mr. Miyagi puts his hands on. He puts his hands on. What's his name?
Daniel's
son. And he touches him. Reiki is touch. It's touch. But he did something that was a manipulation that you'll see a lot of DO doctors do, and he kind of moved the muscles from being, stricken and tightened up. But Reiki is just simply touch, and the more heat you feel coming from the body, it's amazing. Chinese and Japanese healing is Eastern medicine. Is just like, it's incredible.
Wow.
Acupuncture works. Reiki works. But I developed a new technique of healing through my Reiki, and it was like so unconsciously done. I started harnessing the pain, and I would pull, and I would take the Reiki and combine it with pulling. I call it pulling, trademark, and it worked. And people in the class were like, I can feel it through the top of my head or whatever. But our soul, and like one of our teachers at the show, called, his name is Victor Dutro. He talks about the soul and how our soul holds on to things. It holds on to pain. It holds on to things that we don't need the stuff, but we hold on to it for some reason. It's like an insecurity in ourselves or whatever it is that's going on in our lives, like COVID. You're stuck at home all the time, and then you notice, why is my back hurting? Or, and that you're holding on to that. And like, there's people that can teach you how to let go and release. Hypnosis is important. Meditation is important. But I'll tell you what fascinates the hell out of me. The brain, the pineal gland, psyche, conspiracy, dream interpretation. I'm into all that. I like it when it gets controversial because I want someone to challenge it. I don't care if they believe me or not. I mean, I can't tell you I'm always right. I can't tell you that everything I know is correct. Can you tell me everything you know is correct?
No.
No, because we live in a third dimensional world where if it's not written down on paper, where we can read it or visualize it. And then when we see it, half the time we don't believe it anyway.
But in a fourth dimensional world, I'm always right.
In your fourth dimensional mind, you believe anything because you're drinking your whiskey and that can uninhibit people too. I don't really read a lot. I never drink when I read. I'm having a glass of wine, no big deal, but because I'm on a show, but I would never drink with a client. But I don't drink and read at parties either. But I'll tell you what, you guys are sitting here chilling, having your whiskey, and you're more uninhibited. So your energy fields are actually more open to me right now. I can sense your energy.
Well, I made a conscious decision before this podcast started that I would approach tonight's podcast open-minded and open-souled, because I do have my degree of skepticism and my level of cynicism, simply based on the life that I've led and the experiences that I've had. You talked about how I want to save the world. There was a time before radio where I wasn't saving the world, but I was involved in situations where I was.
You know what I mean by that, right?
Yes, I do.
You put yourself in relationships where you think you can save everybody. You can't.
No.
Like, you're the type of guy, and if I may I?
No, please.
I'm going to air your dirty business right here on national television.
Go ahead.
I can see you being the kind of guy that would get into a relationship and just take care of other women's children just because you feel like you should. I can see you being some guy who is kind to women and helps them because you should, because you feel that you should. There's nobody else. I can see you in bad friendships. I can see you in bad situations. And you think you can save these people, but they need to save themselves. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can see you lending a hand. Do you seem like that type of guy firsthand to the world? No, you don't. But I'm telling you what I'm seeing from you, and I see that there's a big heart there, but there's a hardened edge on it for a reason, because it's been hurt. Okay, there's a little bit of toughness there because there needs to be. I mean, you were killed in past life. Think about it. I'm just kidding. You were killed in that recent past life, but there are parts of you that feel killed inside. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to jar any emotion here, but
you must have listened to a lot of podcasts before you showed up today.
I don't
listen to any podcast.
I don't
I actually saw The View doing one on TV, and I went, oh, and I turned it off. I don't like that show.
I don't disagree with you, Kelly. I don't disagree
But
with you.
you can't save the world, and I've heard the same exact things come into my ears. You can't save the world. Stop it. These people are screwed up. Quit pulling in strays. Don't take in any more strays. You don't have room for it in your life. Sometimes you do have to throw out the baggage and say, let me save what I can. You know, I call it cutting my losses. Like when I'm getting ready for an expo, or say I'm planning, you know, a party. I love to plan parties. I love to. You know, and oh man, we forgot that dip. Look how much food we have. I'm cutting my losses. Screw it. You know what I'm saying? You got to cut your losses and keep moving forward, not sit and look back and go, I feel really bad. I shouldn't have done that. Because you don't owe them anything. It seemed like you did because you made yourself feel like you owed them something. You don't owe anyone anything. And I see people trying to take money from you in the past too. So we'll just
I don't know if they've taken it or if I've just given it.
hey kids, we're not going to make that movie. I'll go and turn that. I got to cancel the tickets on that movie. We're going to go see a movie after this, but we're not.
No.
I'm sorry.
This is more fun. This is a lot more fun.
So I have a dream.
Yeah, let's hear it, Whitney.
Well, let's get to Whitney's dream, and then we got to start wrapping.
We got to wrap it up. So,
This is fascinating. Yeah.
so typically, I have a recurring dream that actually stopped maybe about a year and a half ago, before COVID. Flying dreams were a natural thing for me. I could even control them within the dream, as far as like the altitude or whatever. I could control myself in the dream. So, but those have kind of stopped. I haven't had those for about a year and a half. I've moved to a recurring dream of either a dog or somebody who is attacking me, and I kick my wife and wake her up, and it happens a lot.
Wow, what a big difference!
I mean, it's really weird, and I hate that dream, and it's just more often.
And to be honest with you, I'm going to go back to the whole COVID thing. I sense that. I mean, before that, you could fly. Think about the metaphor in all of this, okay? Mm-hmm. Dream interpretation is what you interpret it to be. I can't set the rules for you, okay? It's what you're feeling, what you've seen. There are certain stipulations to it and certain guidelines, but we don't really make the rules and say, well, but I will say, if you're dreaming of snakes, that means you have this big fearful thing coming up and you're going to have lots of money come in. That's a different thing. That's a very specific thing. Yeah. But you felt freedom before. Yeah. Okay. You felt freedom. That freedom stopped. You do not feel that freedom anymore. You feel something vicious trying to attack you. You feel something coming at you, and you can't control it. Think about that. And here's the thing. We dream this. We sleep and we dream this stuff, and we actually wake up feeling helpless, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
So, try to see the upshot of that. If you control these dreams, pet the dog, love on the dog.
Pet the dog, yeah. Usually when I wake up from the dream, it's usually, I'm sorry, honey, for kicking her so hard. That's not a joke. It's that's for real.
Try to focus on the dog.
Yeah.
When you go to sleep this time, every night that you go to sleep for the next week, just give it a shot. You got a dog?
I do not. I'm a cat guy.
Okay.
I'm not afraid of dogs, but I just, it's weird.
There's something about your energy, though, that makes you feel some sort of threat, okay? Because you're not exactly a dog person, but you're a cat person. So when you go to sleep every night for the next week, focus on your love for animals in general. Can you do that? Mm-hmm. It's a technique. It will help you.
Yeah, I can do that.
Focus on that.
Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Before we wrap up, Kelly, a lot of people have been tuning in and listening, and a lot more people are going to listen after the fact. So if you could offer some, I hate the word generic, but as we're coming towards, we've been through a hell of a year and we're still not out of it. I think a lot of people in the past year have lost their way spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically.
Yeah.
If there was some blanket advice that you could give to anybody that's listening to this podcast moving forward that would help them spiritually moving forward, what would it be? It's a tall order, and I hate to put that on you, but
It's a tall order, but I do everything off the cuff. I just go for it. And what I got from what you just asked me was May is our magic month. I kept saying May. May is the magic month. We are going to emerge out of this, okay? By Memorial Day, people are going to see a different world. They're going to see a different life. Yes, our world is going to change like we've never seen it before. There are things that are going to happen that in the future that will confuse you, but I see things coming around in the next few days actually that will change the path that take us into the late spring. And when I see the month of May, I feel a healing. And I see it being, this is very simple. It's very simplistic. I see sunshine and I see happy minds. I see happy people. I see rejoicing and families gathering. And that was what we've been missing all along. Even though we say we're not people, the disconnect is on, man. It's on and it's on strong. We're at the precipice of change right now. This is it. May. I see May being something magical for us, and I feel great about it. I feel good about it. But I will say this: we'll have to talk aliens later because.
There's so many
Oh
things.
my God.
We
Ancient
didn't
aliens.
get to cover. We didn't get to cover ancient aliens. We didn't get to cover the fact that you are in a Dio cover band. We didn't get to cover that. You know, we had questions. Some people want to know if you can predict lottery numbers. We didn't cover that.
That's just you, Dino. Come on, no.
For you, if you're willing to listen, real quick.
What's that?
I got a real quick one. If you have time, like if you got 1 minute.
We got we got minutes.
Okay, a couple years back, I was dating this guy. Probably more like 5 years back. He wanted me to take it. He wasn't from here. He's from Cleveland. He said, you know, I got to go down to it's May. I got to go down to the Kentucky Derby. Oh my God, what are the racetracks around here? Beulah Park.
Yeah.
So he said, we got to go down there and I've got to pick my numbers because it's Kentucky Derby. I said, okay. So I just sold a car. I was like, cool, I got $3,600 in my pocket. Let's go. So we get up to the line and he's like sitting there studying these papers and he's like looking at all the stats and the numbers. And I've never bet on a horse in my life. So I stand up to the gate after he goes. I go, can I go now? And he said, yeah. And I go, I'll take $20 on number 4 and I'll put $40 on number 13. Like that. And he goes, how do you know that? And I said, I don't. I'm just having fun. I have extra money. I'm just throwing it out there, seeing what happens. I just kind of feel good about these numbers. I don't think it was number 13. I think it was actually number 8. But he said, you can't do that. And I said, I can do anything I want. It's my money. It's my money. I can throw it away if I feel like it and be happy about it. Bill always taught me, live freely of your good and just let it go at that point. So we get back to the house. He's sitting there. I go, I got to run to the store. He's like, aren't you going to wait and see who wins? I go, I don't really care. Don't you guys want barbecue chicken? I got to go. So I run to the store. I said, I'll be back in 15 minutes. I swear I'm going to hurry. So I walk in the door and all the people that were with us, like they stood up and stared at me. I said, what? What's going on? Is it over? They're like, how in the hell did you know? I said, I didn't know. I said, I just chose what seemed cool and fun. I just wanted to have fun and like kind of throw caution to the wind. Woo! And I won like over $1,000 on this horse. Now I would have won like 18 grand, but I guess it's kind of like the stock market. They make up their own little rules and change the odds like right at the end.
The odds can change.
You know
up to
Much like politics, yeah.
$15,000. It was 18. It was like 180 to 1, and then they moved it down to 18 to 1.
Because of your bet, probably.
So I won all that money. So him and his friends come back next week, and they said, we want you to pick our numbers for us for next week. And I said, it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
I said, I was just having fun. I said, if you ever want to just hang out and have fun like that, then we're good. Don't expect me to pick lottery numbers. But I will say this. I had a client come and sit down with me, and he was a gambling addict. And I said, I know you got a gambling problem. He said, I know I do. He said, I don't really care because I do make a lot of money gambling. And he said, what should I do? And I said, bingo. And I busted out laughing. And he goes, bingo? He's like, I'm 29. I don't play bingo. I go, well, if you do play bingo, you'll win a bunch of money. And he goes, really, bingo? He came back a month later. He goes, man, I cashed in. I walked in there. I put $20 down and won $1,800. I was so happy. I said, welcome.
Bingo.
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 Hey, wait, I know I have to ask one more question because Chrissy's been texting me. She posted this. She's been listening since the very beginning of the show. Chrissy posted the question. Oh wait, where did it go? Shoot. Her child. Her child has an army toy that he named Owen, and he's a paratrooper. He said, and the kid.
I see that being a spirit. That's
yeah. She's asking who is Owen to my kid's past. So
that's a spirit. That's a spirit he's connected with. And this is the thing about spirit energy. We don't choose to be intakers. It just happens. You're either susceptible to taking in spirit energy or you're not. People will go on our ghost tour with us and we'll be in the Confederate cemetery. This group of five might get tons of stuff. The group next to him is going, how'd they get those pictures? What happened? I'm not getting anything. This sucks. I want to see spirits. Well, it's not all it's cracked up to be. When you're a kid, it's safe. But Owen is a spirit. Let me tell you, I have woken up in the middle of the night, and one night, it scared the crap out of me. I saw a family standing in the bedroom. I was like, wake up, wake up. There's people over there. Like, it's not, just because you're psychic and you connect with spirits doesn't always mean it's a pleasant experience. You're still a human being. We're still people. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the kids are like cool with it because they're young and unconditioned. It's the mom that's freaking out that's going, no, it can't be happening.
So does that mean her son may see more?
He will see more, yeah. And they'll just come to him, and she needs to tell her son, well, you know, maybe he's somebody who lived a long time ago and he was a paratrooper. Maybe you'll see other people from that group. You know, you just have to, you got to be okay with your kids seeing that. My daughter saw the little African, or I don't know if they were African or Somalian kids, but Bella was only 2. She had just been walking a couple of months. We're walking on the Berliner bike path. I'm doing a preliminary walk before I do my ghost tour. And she said, look, Mom, children, they're playing. Hi. She's waving at them. And Bella's dad goes, we got to go. It's getting dark.
Do you know this Chrissy story? Because you mentioned paratrooper in her first time she asked the question. He's a paratrooper. Do you know about this?
Who, me?
No, this is a question for Kelly.
Who is Owen to my kid's past? He's actually somebody connected to your son who's a spirit.
He's a paratrooper.
I think the toy's a paratrooper.
Yeah, but she mentioned paratrooper about 30 seconds ago, and it freaked me out.
He's an actual person that was alive at one point.
Okay.
that knew him or knows of him, or not necessarily.
They could have been hand in hand in that unit. I can see that. But I don't
Past
think
life.
you're always going to remember that.
Mm.
And that's okay. I mean, I would open up to it and I would allow it. But I will tell you this, guys, we could do show after show after show focusing on certain things, because I've been in houses that were really haunted. I mean, really haunted. Like
That was
it's
one.
hard to me. I'm like, we gotta go get some equipment and stuff. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
There was so much tonight. There was an earlier question that my friend Rick Andreessen addressed about the ghost in my house that's
Bill.
living here, Bill, forever. There's so much more. What we're gonna have to do is just have you back again, and then maybe a couple other times as well.
It's a blast.
We have to wrap. We have to wrap.
Come and do a live investigation at your house, and
We can do that.
Yeah.
Why don't we just go ahead and book it now? You be our guest for Halloween, our Halloween episode this year.
I'd love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just go ahead and make that happen and make that a booking right now for October.
I love you guys. You're great. I kind of worked with a better group tonight. This is wonderful. You have a hell of a show, man. This is
thank you, and you've been a hell of a guest. We got to start. We got to wrap things up tonight. Thank you for everybody who tuned in on Facebook and YouTube Live this evening. Kelly, let's go back to Kelly for 1 second, real quick, there, John. Give us your information if people want to contact you directly and get a personal.
Easy this year. PsychicKellyBowman.com, and you can even text me at 614-436-6555. That's Bill Mitchell's old number. I took over his practice. 614-436-6555. I would ask that you not send me questions, but yeah, I mean, I'm on Facebook under Psychic Kelly Bowman, and I have PsychicKellyBowman.com. So anything you need, we do haunted tours, we do expos. My whole life surrounds metaphysics and paranormal. So I didn't plan it that way, but it did. I mean, I ended up channeling Ronnie James Dio on stage one night, and it was really weird.
Speaking, I have a clip.
Let's see it.
Let's close with the clip, Whitney.
All right.
Like, sing okay?
Yeah. Dio.
That's crazy.
That is nuts.
I think we were opening up for Doro Pest from Germany that night.
Ronnie James Dio,
and John,
formerly of Black Sabbath. You chose Dio for a cover band. We'll get into that the next time we talk to you. We'll get into that a little bit. We'll get into some of the minutiae.
That's fun, right? That's fun.
Kelly Bowman. My daughter just chimed in. She was watching. She said, "Great episode."
I saw her.
Yeah, that's my daughter Danielle.
Hey, you're pretty. You're very pretty.
Yeah, she's a great kid. We're gonna wrap things up. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. The guest bottle, once again, bottle 157, I believe. Evan Williams bottled in bond, 100 proof. A great addition to your everyday bar at $17.99, under $20 if you're looking for a great everyday pour. This has been excellent for tonight's episode, so thank you. I want to thank Greg Hansberry, of course, and John Whitney. There you go. Hansberry on the audio side, Whitney on the video side. Hansberry, a quick little bit of business before I say a formal goodbye.
WhiskeyBusinessPod.com is our website where you can find everything, including our archives. If you're on Facebook, like us and share this video, please and thanks. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis, and find us and rate us on all your favorite podcasting apps. Thank you. Share.
Yeah, by all means, people. According to Kelly, you should spread the word, and you can say "I told you so" when we just blow up and become bigger than what we already are. I don't even know what we are, but what we are. I say it, Kelly. I say this every time, not every time, but I say it a lot. This podcast would not be what it is without John Whitney and Greg Hansberry at the helm on the video and the audio side. So I feel like I can never thank them enough for what they contribute on a regular basis. So thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Again.
Thank you. Hey, thanks, Kelly. That was great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
What's that?
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. You guys make a hell of a team. This is a perfect setup.
It's a good team. I love these two knuckleheads. When we sign off, Kelly, hang around. We want to talk to you and say thank you personally for a couple minutes, if you don't mind. So don't go anywhere after we sign off. Everybody else, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in tonight. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, a Covidential Kitchen with Tommy Gallo. That's running and airing as we speak. Tommy Gallo from Gallo's Kitchen, a year after the pandemic, where he's at, what he's doing. Check that one out. We got more great things in the works coming up in the weeks to come. Local people who are doing big things on a national level. And you know, like I always tell you, everybody on this podcast has a story. And all this podcast is a good conversation over a good pour. We've been doing it for close to 5 years now. And according to Kelly, we're going to keep doing it on a much larger and bigger scale, which makes me very happy. So until the next bottle, see ya.